That's some good old cup of Joe. Hey, what's up, you guys? ShartimusPrime here, wearing a Wolverine shirt and drinking out of a Spider-Man cup, and hearing my own dumb voice in the background right now. So, cutting that off right there so you don't hear the duplicates. But and I think we should be better now, right? I created my own technical difficulty right there. Oh, got another one. Okay, actually had two windows open that I wasn't aware of. I'm sorry about that. But how you guys doing? Welcome back to the ShartimusPrime live stream over on the Russ Toy Reviews channel. I wanted to post another review on here before doing this live stream, but that did not happen. So I have a Masters of the Universe figure that I'm going to talk about, and I have and then I have some other stuff that I'm going to talk about on the Russ Toy Reviews channel as well. I also have some Marvel Legends. I'm going to read the chat over here. It says we get yo from your boys got toys, and then dope merch. Yeah, I think I have a feeling Shirley the One bought this for me. And happy Veterans Day, happy Remembrance Day, everybody. Of course. Happy Veterans Day. And we have how you doing? X Anamato Figures. Hope all is well with you. I will have a guest. So yeah, this is there's going to be blood. So is this versus a cage match or traditional ring? We're going cage match because we need to have there's going to be blood. It's going to get messy, all right? Because Manny and I are both very passionate guys. All right. Can you review the BBTS V Toys body? Ooh, I might. I'm actually interested. I'll take a look. And then Liam also says Happy Veterans Day, and Manny will be joining us fairly soon, so stay tuned. And so I sent him the link and stuff, and I have Marvel Legends I'm going to show off in a second. Hey, Shart, looking to death of big time. Yes, I'm Saturday. Let's hope it happens Saturday. I'm going to put some more work on it tonight. And then I've really been wanting to do something on the channel outside of doing just regular reviews. It's kind of irked me a little bit that it hasn't happened. I've had some friends mention it to me. Shout out to Sean Long. I love that my friends keep it real with me and tell me what it is. But I'm looking at Saturday, and then on Sunday. Oh yeah, oh yes, this looks amazing. I know I'm not the thirsty one to do it, but I'm excited to finally crack this wave open. Oh yeah, yes. We got lots of goodies over here. I'm showing them off all over again because this one I'm really excited for right here. Come on, man. This is not a bad looking wave. I've heard a lot of positive things about this Jonah, which I was kind of surprised to hear that a lot of people are that excited for it. And then this one right here, asking for a repaint already. Not even out of the box yet. Needs to be repainted. And then we have the emptiest one of all of them. Wow, but the body looks pretty good. But yeah, it's very light for sure. Very, very light for sure. And then the new Doctor Strange figure right there. All right. Well, which is not really that new of a figure. So there that is. And I will be opening them up and start reviews on this Sunday. Then tomorrow I'm going to do an unboxing video. I'm going to open up a big old box from BBTS. So I have some goodies over there that I'm going to open up. So look forward to that. But yeah, I want to talk about here. Let me hit up Manny really quick. I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown. All right, so I'm going to give you guys a rundown on my thoughts of the Eternals movie, okay? Oh, well, one thing I wanted to mention is on this channel, it might get a little bit more raw It might get a little more rough around the edges. We'll see. I'm not aiming to be offensive or anything like that, but I kind of feel a little bit more loose on this channel and kind of just want to say what I want to say. All right. And not feel like there's kids in the room or anything like that. So if you're under 18 or there's like you really hate the part about my videos where I talk about toes or whatever, or you know what I mean, then leave, come back another time. All right. So getting into the Eternals movie, real talk here. I absolutely hate that there is this narrative that if you didn't like the movie, you are anti-diversity and you don't like people of color or you're anti-inclusionary and all this stuff. Because there's a lot of dickwads out there that straight up hate the movie just on that alone and probably refuse to see it or saw the movie and hated it because of that, which I think is horrible for two reasons. Reason number one, diversity has done a lot of great things for Marvel Comics. Look at the X-Men. We had 5 white characters. That comic was not doing so well. They wrote the new X-Men where we got Storm, Wolverine, Thunderbird, Banshee, Sunfire. We got all these diverse characters and boom, the book sold like crazy. And that's the infamous, and I forgot to mention Nightcrawler, of course. We have characters, a diverse array of characters from X-Men, and it did wonderful things for Marvel Comics. So diversity in comics is cool, all right? It's actually verified dope. People like it. It sells comic books. We enjoy it. The problem I have with the Eternals movie has nothing to do with that at all whatsoever, okay? We'll get into more of that in a minute. But now we got XManny87 in the waiting room, and I think he could hear me just fine. So we're going to get into it. There's going to be blood shed all over the place over here. We're going to have to wipe down comics and figures after. Welcome to the show. Big thanks, my friend. We have XManny87.
Yo, what up, man?
¿Qué pasó, primo? Looking good, man.
Primo, I heard you're talking shit about me, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, I was. How you doing, man?
Good. I'm cold as fuck right now, but you know.
Oh, yeah.
You probably know. You know that feeling.
Oh,
being in your garage and stuff, but I'm not in my garage. It's just straight up cold, man. But yeah, man, I'm doing good. Just man, the last couple of weeks I was just like under the weather, so I was like going back and forth with like doctors and stuff. So I'm just like,
I'm sorry to hear that, bro.
Let me chill with the reviews a bit, and then just like, okay, once I feel better, I'll get back on it. It's all good, bro. You know, just gotta take care of ourselves first, you know, because we're human, bro.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Some people forget that.
I have my yeah, exactly. People do forget that. Yeah, we actually are people, and we do need rest and things like that to keep us moving forward and everything. Keep ourselves rejuvenated. I need a break myself, honestly, but like I have so much cool stuff like right in front of me that it's keeping me energized, and I have this itch to do the stop motion thing for the death of Big Time Badass. It's hurt me ever so much not having that video up. So it's like it'll hurt. It's more unhealthy for me to not post it than to post it, because I get more anxious and everything not having it posted. So it'll be like taking a big dump and then feeling the relief afterwards. I'll feel good. So you recently, I have a few questions. I want to do a little some background questions for you a little bit before we get into the mean dirty stuff. For those of you who don't already know you too well, right? Most people here know who you are and everything, but give us a little bit of a backstory to how you got into action figure collecting.
Man,
go way back.
Started when I was a sperm. You know,
like collecting eggs.
Like I was just like born into it. So my brother and I we're like 10 years apart, right? So he already had like a collection, like GI Joe. That was the first collection I was like ever exposed to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he always had like tons of GI Joes, more than anything. But we had some like superhero stuff, like the DC Super Friends and He-Man. He-Man was a big one. Transformers. He was more of a GI Joe guy than Transformers, but we had a lot of figures. So it was just kind of like I was already like into it.
Wow, you really were born into it.
Yeah, I really was. He was a collector. He still is. He just collects the WWE, AEW, like the wrestling stuff. He'll collect like some Marvel Legends, but mainly that's like he shares that with his his son, my nephew. And so like I wasn't really like super into it until, because there were toys like automatically, we're kids, we love them, but I think what really took it was when he was I know when he got his like first job in high school, every check we would go to the comic shop together and we would buy all the 90s Toy Biz X-Men figures and stuff like that. Because those were like the best checks to have, right? Like the high school checks, remember? They were all for you, man. No bills, nothing. I miss those checks.
Yeah.
So
I started getting badgered with the car insurance not that long after, though. I remember that part too. Like, that's like all of it. That's like
that your first phone bill. That'll make you cry.
Yeah,
It'll make a grown man cry.
That stuff back then.
But yeah, those. But yeah, that was that's when like, oh man, like it was just stuck with us ever since. We just started like collecting together. Our collection was pretty much, it was our collection,
Mm-hmm.
So we collected like everything, WWE stuff and all that stuff, and then so collecting a bit when I was like a teenager. It was like here and there, but like I was just super like into sports. I was doing wrestling, boxing, football, baseball a lot, baseball. And so I got back into collecting, and then that's when I like started like just doing pictures, like random pictures, and I wasn't even like. This was like before there was like an Instagram and stuff. I was just always into photography like that, because I just remember like when I was growing up, like the 80s, you always saw like the GI Joe, Transformers. They always were photographed in these nice like environments, and then it wasn't until like later, I discovered this photographer from the Foosh. His name was Matthew K, and he was doing the most like, it was just amazing. His action figure photography just blew me away, and I'm like, man, I want to do that. And I didn't know how to start or anything. Then I encountered the ACBA group where they were doing all the like tangible stuff, no Photoshop and all that, and then that's when I started like learning and all the like tricks in the books, and still learning. So it kind of just took my hobby to another level,
nice.
of that, because I've always had like a visual eye for it. I loved action figures no matter what, but like I always wanted, because when we grow up reading comics or playing video games or watching the movies, there's always these scenes that inspire us or we want to create, whether it's recreating something we love or just creating something new in our head. Like I feel like that imagination will always be in our heads for that. And then man, got myself deep into this.
So how long ago would you say that was? Like when you're like really discovering action figure photography, and when you really started to take things to another level? Hey, we got Sonny in the house. What's up, Sonny? Saying what's up, Manny?
What's up, Sonny?
It was Art talking shit.
He doesn't talk shit. that's not him. It'd be like, well, who the fuck are you, freaking
Yeah,
clone or something?
it's
Like,
not talking shit, then it's not
if he
him.
talks nice, I'm just like, nah, it's a clone or something. Got to cut his head off or something. It's not him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What was your question, Dan? How long ago?
Yeah, like how long ago was it, like when you really started to take things to the next level with the photography? And then we'll get into the eternal stuff, because I really want to talk about that with you really bad, because I really
Man, it was when I started really taking it serious, it was like probably 2015.
Okay. 2015 it started to really ramp up. Is there anything you could do with your audio a little bit? It's a little glitchy. Maybe if you could turn up the volume on your computer a little bit. There's some of us are noticing that it kind of cuts in and out a little. I don't know if there's anything you could do with the audio.
I'm not sure. I'm using my AirPods. I'm using my phone. I'm not really using a computer right now.
Oh, okay. I don't know if turning the volume
that's
up
updating. Do I sound better?
Gotcha. Yeah, it sounds a little better. I guess, yeah, if you're a little closer, it sounds a little clearer, right? What's up, Landon Films? How are you doing? So I wanted to get, I mean, dude, for 2015, man, that's a lot of improvement in a pretty short amount of time, man. Like, you've covered a lot of ground, man. So congratulations on all the hard work.
Thanks. Like, that's when you found me that year and put me on the map. I mean, I appreciate that. When I was just doing basic stuff. It wasn't like, what it is today.
Of course. Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Like, one thing when we had Sentry on here, he said he, like, at the very end of the stream or something, he said, like, dude, sometimes it takes me like 4 hours to take one of these pictures. Like how, like, on average, how long would you say you spend, like, getting like a really dope ass shot, not just your average, like one that you're like really, really proud of, that you hope gets shared around a lot, like on a sick ass one, like, not that, not that you make anything mediocre or anything. I'm not trying to say that, but some of them you're more proud of than others, you know what I mean? Like on a really sick ass shot, like around how many hours, how much time would you say you would spend on something like that? ACBA, yeah.
It's so weird. And I still like have this like internal battle, because sometimes I can do the most outrageous, crazy, over the top, like ambitious shot that it could literally take me like 5 minutes.
Oh wow.
Sometimes. Or other times, like something that I is not as ambitious could take me 4 hours. Like some, like I feel for Sentry, because sometimes it's just so weird. I don't get it. Like that one picture I did with Rage, where I just have him like shoulder tackling a bunch of AIM soldiers, or Hydra soldiers all together. Like I literally had a flight stand on one figure, and the rest I just kind of like
piled on
and balanced it, and it literally took me 5 minutes, and I'm there. I'm like, because sometimes I'm just like, okay, this is gonna take a while, especially when you're balancing a lot of figures, and like, man, it took me 5 minutes, and but other times, a lot of times, yeah, it does take me hours, man. Which is why my reviews are never put up on time, because I always like to take series of photos of the figure. So depending what I'm going for, it all depends. And sometimes the posing is not the hardest part for me. It's getting the lighting right, the composition, making sure everything is in a frame. It's yeah, all that. The lighting could just drive me nuts. My OCD just goes up, because I'm like, all right, is the lighting good on his face? If the explosion is coming on this, if I have an explosion and the character's running and the explosion's coming on his right side, right? I can't have the light like here. Light signs, the light has to come from here.
Right. And you have to remember your light sources.
Right, the light sources, exactly. Jim Lee praised that. That's one thing. Jim Lee talked great. he had a great topic discussion about light science one time. I forgot where it was, but I learned a lot from that. And, yeah, it's lighting is just like annoying, but yeah, sometimes one shot can take 4 hours or more. It depends what you're going for.
That trips me out when you say that. It's like it's a true art form. I mean, like I always relate everything to music, and I remember I had this performance with a big band. The piano player was always like he's like the second best musician after the director. So this guy is like the super like very very talented guy, and I played this drum solo, and it was like a bunch of like stuff in it that I was like, all right, okay. I mean, not bad, but I'm doing all right. And I come out of the solo, and boom, big applause and all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, very nice of you, but you know, it was all right, if anything. And then at the end of the thing, like the piano player stands up, like, that was a sick ass solo. That was the best solo you've ever done in your life. And I was like, I'm like, don't tell me that, dude. Like that was not the best solo. That was like average at most. But like the perception is all different, right? And like you could spend like 5 minutes on it, and you could just nail it. Sometimes you don't have to grind so hard to hit that sweet spot, you know, and then other times you have to go over and over and over again, and you barely get that sweet spot, or you hit it, but not nearly as quickly. That's what I love about this stuff. That's what I love about art.
Sometimes I get compliments. Yeah, sometimes I get compliments on photos like, yo, that's your best photo ever. And I'm like, really? No, I think some other photos, like some, like I know my favorite figure I love photographing is Magneto.
Oh yeah, he's fun. Yeah.
Magneto and Storm have like that power set that I just love to recreate, and I know they would take me a while.
Yeah,
they would take me a while, because especially when you're doing Magnetos, you know, the whole electromagnetic force field, and you want to make the environment like come alive around him if he's like levitating stuff and all that. The setup process can take a long time.
Yeah. Let me ask you this one last question before we get into the Eternals, because I haven't done a review on the channel or anything like that on the Eternals movie, and I'm really looking forward to your perspective of Eternals. But are you caught up with your Marvel Legends? There are so many Marvel Legends coming out. I just showed off that. I mean, I got this like a week ago, and I'm just about to start reviewing them this weekend. But I got the Armadillo Build-A-Figure wave. I know you have. I've seen your posts, and I will be watching shortly because I have over there my AOA Wave 2 set. But I'm curious to know where you're at as far as grabbing everything.
So I just got the MCU voucher yesterday at my Target.
Nice.
And, I don't know if I ever told you about like how I am with like Marvel Legends. Like if there's an update coming and like it's so much better, I will sell the outdated one. So like with the bath, I sold it like because I want the outdated one. I'd rather have the better one. So when I saw this, I'm like, yo, the updated colors are sweet, man. Like they just pop, where the bath was just so dark. It was really dark. You'll get what I'm saying when you see them next to each other, but and especially because this has actual accessories where the bath didn't. I think the bath only had the flight stand. So I got this, and I'm like super stoked. Yeah, it's just a Michael Keaton head would have been the chef kiss, bro. I wish there was a Michael Keaton head. A missed opportunity there. Today I just got the Compound Hulk in the mail, Walmart. Like I didn't even open the package yet, but I know it's there. And I got the Hydra Stomper from BBTS. Nice. The Eternals wave are still in the box, so I might as well just open them here while I'm on the live stream. While I'm opening them, we could talk about each character. So,
all right, I'm down.
I figured that'd be Sorry if I'm like knocking shit over. My bad. Oops. Am I allowed to curse? Because I have a bad mouth.
Yeah, you could curse. Yeah, I gave a warning at the beginning, not for younger viewers. So yeah, I wanted to give you my rundown of the movie. I'll go through my my little synopsis. I'll talk about the things that I liked about Eternals first. Okay, so the thing that I liked the most about Eternals was number one, Kingo. He was like the highlight of the movie for me. Every time he was on screen, I wished it was a Kingo movie. I was thinking, why you could just have him be your lead character and that's it. Like I'm hella down to watch Kingo the movie, and then or Kingo the Eternal. You know what I mean? That would sell tickets.
I love that
And
he
then,
did a Bollywood movie of the Eternals.
yeah,
So he was making an Eternals movie in the Eternals movie.
yeah,
I think some people didn't really get that, but I thought it was like freaking hilarious. And like his whole like he has his own like MCU version. Like he has all these movies, and they're kind of like what his assistant was kind of like making hints, and I kind of caught up on that. I'm like, oh, he's doing like his own MCU in the MCU. It's funny. Yeah, he was
I
a
thought,
delight.
and yeah, the assistant, the camera guy was great. I thought he was hella funny. Yeah, we're gonna talk about spoilers, by the way, you guys. So if you don't want to get spoiled, you know, come back and watch later on the upload. But yeah, Camille Nanjiani was fantastic. I also like Fastos. I thought Fastos was really cool. I feel like he had a little bit more backstory and relevance to the team succeeding more so than some of the other characters. So those are my top two favorite characters were Kingo and Fastos. And then I really liked Thena. I thought she was cool, but she was like brain dead the whole time. That bothered me because I was like, man, this character is doing so much badass stuff. I love her action scenes. There are some action scenes with Icarus and Makari that I absolutely loved.
Those were fierce, man.
Yeah, say that again.
Her action scenes were fierce. I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, it cuts in and out, so it sounded like this. The scenes were fierce. That's what, not to be mean or anything, but it cuts in and out, so it's like it'll whoop, whoop, and then come back. I messed with the audio a little bit on this end, and I kicked up the volume some, but and then yeah, so those are the things I liked about it. But like the thing that I really, and I was mentioning this earlier, that I had no problem with the diversity at all whatsoever, and that actually didn't even, and that's not like what got me to buy a movie ticket either. Like I feel I get really annoyed when that's like a topic. Do we even have to talk about that? Why can't we just have a bunch of different types of people in a superhero movie and not have that be a freaking thing? Like I mentioned earlier, X-Men, 5 white characters, and then eventually they brought in Nightcrawler, Wolverine, Storm, Sunfire, all these diverse characters, and the book sold like crazy. Like diversity.
Yeah, you shouldn't be
especially
bitching about
well,
diversity, especially if you're an X-Men fan.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're all for diversity, especially if you're an X-Men fan. So having all different types of people, I'm all for it. And I hate that that's like, because I really didn't like the movie, but that part never bothered me. I hated the movie because I thought Cersei was a do nothing and Icarus was a nothing. Like I felt like there was nothing to those characters. That is my biggest gripe. It's like I could not answer you. I cannot
Icarus was
answer to the question, what do they like and what do they not like, except for just each other and bad guys. Like that like that's it. That part frustrated me. All right,
the
now
best twist
it's
of
your
the
turn, Manny. Go for it. I'm gonna let you talk about the things that you liked, and then mention whatever you may have not liked.
Okay. You know what?
Your
No
favorite
matter
things.
no matter what we say to the internet, we're not gonna win. So no matter how much I praise it, how much I bash it, there's people that are, no matter what, they're just gonna
Oh yeah,
say
fuck
it sucked
No,
or
fuck it, dude. You got your opinion. Nobody's like, yeah. Oh, I've given, ever since I said that I like the Joss Whedon version over the Zack Snyder version. I feel like, you know what? I have given up hope on being in sync with the majority of viewers or anything like that. I'm like in my own realm, I guess. I don't know.
People just take it so personal. I don't know. All right, so one thing I really loved, man, was that the one thing that I talked about was the freaking forest scene. How intense that was. where I felt like all the Eternals were like in danger. So I love that. It made me feel like, when was the last time in a Marvel movie where I felt like every character was in danger, not including Infinity War and Endgame, because those were like given, okay?
Yeah.
Not even in Civil War where someone made me feel like, all right, this person's in danger, the whole team is in danger. Like it was so good when Gilgamesh like sacrificed himself for Athena. I felt that, man. I was just like, yo, this dude he was a real hero. Like, it was a great sacrificial hero moment. Like, I'm trying to think, like, what kind of, there wasn't a big hero like moment in the MCU that I can think of. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't care if this is an unpopular opinion. I felt his death more than I did Iron Man's. I Am Iron Man. Like,
What?
I swear, I don't know what it was. I think that was one of Robert Downey's weakest acting moments. I just thought he could have done better. It was just like, I am Iron Man, and it's just like this. And I just thought like he could have done so much more. Maybe I was just expecting him to die, that it didn't really affect me. But when Gilgamesh, like, and I liked him, man. He was one of the highlights for me in the movie. Yeah, and dude, in the comics, he is like powerful. He is super powerful.
He's like Thor powerful.
Yeah, like and when you saw like Crow like killing him, the sound effects. That's another thing I love. The sound effects in the movie, like you just heard like every pierce and crunch. I really felt. I saw the movie in IMAX 4DX. So I got that crazy, awesome experience.
Oh, so you had the rumbling seats and the vibrator and the culo during the sex scene? Did they do that? Like,
that was like the first. That was like the. No, it wasn't that. Thank God, no.
That'd be hella funny.
I mean, might as well watch porn in 3D or some shit.
Like, I know, right? Like, wow, this is really. The 4D is the shit. Like, damn. Hella vibrating.
Yeah. You get all the D in 4D.
Yeah, I get all the D in 4D. Like.
Oh yeah, that was that was supposed to be like Marvel's first like sex scene ever, and I was just like, it was so weak, and I'm just like, yo, if you don't hear cheeks clapping, it's weak. Get out of here. You didn't do a good job, dude. And so like I did like Icarus and Cersei's chemistry. Isn't it funny how dude like Robb Stark, right? What is it from Game of Thrones? Robb Stark and Jon Snow.
Oh, those I don't know too much on the Game of Thrones, but I know who those characters are.
Well, they both like with a girl named Cersei, and it's just funny like how in this movie they're both in love with a girl named Cersei. I feel like the casting was kind of like.
I didn't catch that. I'm not a Game of Thrones. I'm not really to the Game of Thrones.
I'm not either. I kind of like stopped at a certain point, but I just had to throw that in there.
That's
I thought it was
fun.
The cinematography I thought was freaking beautiful. This is one of their best visual movies, except like the CGI, but we'll get into that later. But like the cinematography was beautiful when you saw the Dreaming Celestial emerge. Tiamat, whatever his name.
Yeah.
You see the hand in his head, and I was just like the bird's eye view that they had on that. Again, cinematography was beautiful.
We'll give it that for sure.
Yeah, Mercari, I felt like had the best powers on display I've ever seen. Like her speedster ability was way better than the Flash and Quicksilver, in my opinion. Like, I've never seen speed and flight like Icarus look so good. Like,
Icarus did look really good
when they fought each other, bro. Those sounds were, again, sound effects. It was so aggressive. Like, I felt it. I was like, oh, that. I really like the one person I
The one person,
like that was my least expected to be my favorite was Mercari. I was like, oh snap! Like display powers. Icarus was just he was like Superman and Homelander had a baby, bro. He was
right.
he was a beast, man. And I could see where some people would have a problem where like, oh, how am I gonna care about 10 characters in like a 2-hour film? Like, I really think they did a good job as far as trying to flesh out the characters in 10 characters in 2 hours. It's hard. I gotta like really applaud them for that.
Let me ask you this though. Let me ask you this because I can't answer this myself. What does Icarus want? Like in the movie, like that character, like what does that character want?
That's kind of there is some like unanswered questions and stuff like that because he wanted to serve the Celestials to the utmost, right? To serve their
to annihilate. You got cut out, but you said he wanted to help the Celestials, right? That
yeah. So how they were their destiny is, right? Like, and basically, yeah, right. Say he wants to complete the mission. So for him, it was like, I do whatever it takes. So I felt like that was a good twist in the movie because I didn't see it. In the comics, I don't ever remember Icarus turning bad. So that was no, I don't think he did. Yeah, I love.
Did you like that they actually threw him into the sun? That was like so okay, but that answers my question though. I mean, like his motive was to fulfill the mission, right? To do the mission. Okay. See, but he doesn't. But he ultimately does not, right? And that's the part that really throws me off because I don't know where that character stood at all. And then, like, after he clearly did not fulfill the mission, he flew himself into the fucking sun. And I'm like, and I was like, wait, like, if you're gonna like flip, like he flipped sides and then he
felt bad. I think after. I think that's where the movie didn't show is like there must have been some inner dialogue within him that knew like, okay, what I'm doing, I think is right, but ultimately, morally, I feel wrong. So he's definitely a conflicted character. Where they made again, I didn't expect this turn, and I want to see it another time to really like get a better perspective on that. But I really think that that's what it came down to. Like he really kind of compared to like I guess
almost like
where he killed Zod.
Oh,
like he had no choice. Like he was just in that situation. But he carries that guilt, that regret. So that's definitely gonna be there later on for character development,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Pardon me. I just like belched. I was just saying, excuse me. I'm gross. Nasty.
Yeah. It's there was some things that I was iffy about Icarus too, because I was just like, while I liked the plot twist that he turned on them, at the same time I was just like, whoa.
Well, here's the other thing is that what does Cersei? I didn't find a connection for Icarus for me in the movie. Like I just didn't find anything likable about him. Like I just didn't like him. He didn't do anything that made me feel like he had any kind of serious acts of heroism and nothing charming. And then, like, because of that,
be a hero.
But he's got both Cersei and Sprite are in love with him, right? So it's like both of these characters are into this dude, but like I found nothing appealing about the guy. So that's why I put so much emphasis on him, because it's like and then I feel like the movie didn't really know who the main character was. Like, was Icarus the main character or was it Cersei? I don't really know. Like, is it Cersei? I think it's Cersei.
In a movie, in the team-based movie, I never take it as like there's supposed to be one lead, because it's a team, right? So no matter what, I don't think there's supposed to be that one like focus on the one actor lead. You know what I mean? I think it was all to have them on the same level, and then
Well, you gotta have one. You gotta have one to get the story along, because you're one person watching it. You know what I mean? Like you need one, the storytelling, so that you can go on the ride with that person. I mean, it's like I guess maybe I don't know. But you gotta ask me like X-Men. like the first X-Men movie, right? Like, who's the lead character? There are so many dope ass characters, but we all know, like in the Fox films, X-Men movies, it's fucking Wolverine. Like, Wolverine is the main character, right? And it's like, even though I feel like it's also Magneto in a way, I kind of almost feel like it's Magneto. I also kind of feel like it's also Professor X. But really, the story moves along through the life and experiences of Logan more than anything else, even though we have all these other huge, big characters with them. And I feel like Cersei was the one that we're following through. But you say Icarus, right?
Again, it's hard to pin that on a team-based movie. Because even with X-Men, the focus was on Wolverine and stuff, but like, might as well just call those movies Wolverine instead of X-Men. Because the focus was on him, and then when it wasn't, I'm trying to think who was the focus on after the original trilogy, the prequels. I felt like it was Magneto. Magneto was like the main focus, and then like him and Charles Xavier to establish that relationship. But then they bring Wolverine back in the picture, so it's like, oh, it's a Wolverine show again.
yeah. Like Days of Future Past, it felt like it was a lot about Magneto, but it was really Wolverine doing all the stuff, going back in time and fixing everything, and and doing all the. It's like really a Wolverine adventure, even though it had to deal with Magneto, more than anything.
I just think it wasn't. To me, it's like a lot of the characters shined for me. It wasn't just like Icarus, and I thought you would like him because he just displayed such badass powers. Like,
I know
like the eye beams and like he was like Superman. I thought you would like that.
I did like that. I thought it was sick, but there were a couple of things that took me out of it. Like, there were at least 2 shots that I thought were directly ripped off from Zack Snyder. Like, there was there was at least 2. That
flying punch?
Yeah, the flying punch. And then there was like the one where it was like
bit off of Snyder's Man of Steel.
The Crow was right in front of one of the Eternals, or Cersei. I'm not sure. I think it was Cersei, and then like Icarus came out of nowhere and hit him from the side. That was straight out of Man of Steel. I was like, oh, come on, that was straight out of Man of Steel. So when they did that, it kind of took me out of the movie a little bit, because now I'm thinking of a different movie that has a very similar hero. And to be honest with you, it's like I don't even like those movies that much, but it's like I'm not even that big of a fan of the Snyder Superman. But I will agree, the effects.
Icarus was inspired by Man of Steel, Zack Snyder's Man of Steel. I don't know if you saw that.
Say that again. What was
the director of the Eternals?
Oh, the director, yeah.
He said that Icarus was inspired by Zack Snyder's Superman.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm like, right. There's one thing to be inspired by, but then to straight up fighting it.
Yeah, he took the shot. It's it's almost copyright infringement. You stole the shots. You took the same shots on some of it, not all of it.
Right.
Not all of
because
it.
the character was still unique. There was a lot of DC references in there too.
Yeah, and I didn't like that either. I was like,
Oh,
get
that's
that
Superman!
shit.
That's Superman! I don't wear a cape. I'm like, whoa. What? Or are we teasing like a MCU DCEU crossover?
Oh no, yeah. I mean, they did that in the books. They've done that in the comics a whole bunch of times. I never really was a big fan of when Marvel does that either. I'd rather just keep them out of each other's universes. But like that's just me. It's not big.
I'm not a big fan of crossover events that much.
Yeah, like the amalgam thing, like back in the day, I honestly wasn't a big fan of that. I grew to appreciate the designs more as I got older, but like back then everyone was like, "Oh my god, Spider-Man, Superboy, it's the same guy now." Like they're combined or
Wolverine taking out Lobo and like that. I was just like,
yeah,
don't bury your own characters like that.
Right.
If I was on the DC side, I'm like, I'm not getting Lobo, one of the most badass characters, one of the few characters that can go toe to toe with Superman and Doomsday, just get knocked out to Wolverine like that.
So what would you say your overall rating for Eternals was? Like, or wait, before we get to that, I wanted to know what was your least favorite thing about the movie? If you had a least favorite thing, Crow?
The figure's as bad as his CGI.
They had.
I saw your review of this figure too, and I do agree with you. Like the coloring is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like the shiny parts, but then I'm just looking at this and I'm just like, I'm like, it's like putting the figure in the movie, and it just did. The CGI on Crow didn't do for me, man. That was the weak point. But like in the MCU villain they're like a lot of them are just like throwaways.
Yeah, for this one, yeah.
So that was my least favorite part, and then I love Salma Hayek. I love Angelina Jolie's Athena. Because those are like my two favorite actresses growing up, they're amazing actresses.
I know.
You've seen Salma Hayek in Dusk Till Dawn, man?
Oh, I know. I'll never forget it. I know, like
55.
Let's all have a moment of
55
silence.
and she can still get it.
Oh yeah, dude. Let's just all have a moment of silence for Salma Hayek and From Dusk Till Dawn, everybody.
Yeah, right.
Like I'll just think of the liquid going down the patas and everything. Oh man. Hey, that could have started it for some people right there, man. That could have been the trigger.
So that was like my only like downside, really. I mean, I put out my Instagram stories. I gave the movie like an 8 out of 10 because the plot was pretty decent. I liked all the characters. Again, that's just me. But one thing I loved about it, right, was Druig was good. His displays, again, I love their powers of displays. Like, oh man, Makari and Druig had a great chemistry. I love them together. The connection, like people didn't realize how many connections there was in this. Like, remember Makari in her room that she was like collecting all this stuff, and Thena swinging the sword, and she's like, "Is that the ebony blade?" And it's like, "No, Excalibur," and I'm like, "Yes!"
Oh yeah.
I was like, "Yes!" Then we get to the ebony blade later, in the post-credit scene,
right?
With Black Knight, and I don't know if you know the voice that was talking behind him is supposed to be Blade,
right?
They form a group together. I think him, Union Jack, or something like that. I forgot what they're called. I can't think of it now.
I think of Union Jack. I was thinking of the Defenders, but it's not going to be, or the Invaders, but it's not going to be the Invaders, probably. Huh?
Man, I can't think of the name. There's that, and then Star Fox comes out at the end. saying
Mhm.
he's. So that's the one thing that really
I love Pip
threw
the
me
Troll.
off.
Seeing it burping, drinking Pip the Troll made me happy as hell. I was like, "Oh, look at that! Straight out of the comic books. Nice."
I know, but the CGI was.
Yeah, a little questionable. A little questionable. I'll give it that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't
Uh,
good on that. Let's face it. Like it was more like I felt like it was more like, oh well, this is just a post credit scene. We really don't care about the CGI here. So that was kind of bummer. But the Star Fox, what threw me off? All right, he announced himself as Thanos's or Pip announced him as Thanos's younger brother, and it's like Athena and Makari were on the ship, and I'm thinking Athena at least is a little better with her memory. She would know at least who Star Fox is, because Athena is Thanos' cousin. So I'm like, is she really like it? Did she really really forget everything? Because I would just think, okay, they're
mm.
family. She would know who this guy is without an introduction.
Yeah, that's what. But Thena was like never really mentally there the whole time anyway. That's what I didn't like about. That's one thing that really bothered me about the movie was that I was so stoked for Angelina and Selma that like I barely saw them in the movie. I felt like I got a little bit of Angelina at the end. She seemed to be there for a minute. But like in Selma, I mean, Ajax is barely in the movie at all, and Thena is just like barely conscious, like she's like loopy chick the whole time, and I'm like, oh man, she's so badass when she's fighting. I like the visual effects for her fight scenes the most because to me,
Oh my god!
I love
Yeah, her
swords
fight scenes were
and
so amazing.
yeah, yeah, and I don't think I've seen anything quite like that with the fancy like with those kinds of effects with those kinds of swords like that. So that made me so I thought that was really cool. Um I do Charlita one she didn't like it either, but she wants to see it again. And I'm like, okay, I'm down to see it again, but like I'm down to see it on streaming again. I'm not going to go to the theater, but if I'm going to give it like you gave it an 8 out of 10. Honestly, I'm giving it somewhere around like a 4 or a 3 for me, like somewhere to 3.5, 4, because I just didn't latch on to Cersei, and I was so like, first off, give me some Gemma Chan. I'm all about the Gemma Chan. I was rooting for that Gemma Chan. I was stoked as hell, and I think you were the one who brought it up to my attention that that was the same actress as Minerva, and I was stoked as hell. I was like, oh yeah, sick, cool. So I was rooting for that Gemma Chan the whole time, and so I went in a little bit biased, excited for the character, and I was even thinking to myself, all these freaking hella fine ass Cersei's on the pegs, they're going to be all sold out after this movie comes out because that character is probably going to dominate the movie and people are going to want that figure after the movie comes out. That's what I was thinking. That's what I was hoping for. And when I watched the movie, I did not like the way the character was written. I still don't have anything against Gemma Chan. I think it was the writing that hurt the character more than anything because I didn't find anything that I really liked about her that much in it, and she was so indecisive on taking the lead. It's like, dude, she gave you the Matrix of leadership. Take that shit and go. Like, come on. Like, do
I
it
think
already. Stop being a
yeah,
Rodimus already. Come on.
yeah, yeah. When
She
she
was a hot
realized,
rod.
I mean, for being, you gotta think, being on Earth for thousands and thousands of years, and like now finally finding this out, like what the real purpose is, and again, she already uh like her and Ajax said, they fell in love with humanity, and stuff like that. It's like she was questioning the motive of the Celestials and stuff like that. So for that long, she had to like question, man, what is this purpose, and to make sure like she's doing the right decision and making the right decision and doing the right act. But I don't know, her character didn't bother me. I will say that I think in more fleshed out because they were more they were like, you hear me?
No. No, say it again. Say it again. Somebody fleshed out. Somebody fleshed out. I heard.
Oh, I think that for the Eternal sequel, that they're
Oh, there's.
gonna flesh out more of Cersei's character. You know,
You think
I
they're
think
gonna do a sequel?
I mean they introduced Star Fox. Star Fox is an Eternal / Avenger. So they're definitely gonna push that. Um,
Hmm. Better make. I'd rather see
Marvel.
Kitwell the movie, but
He was hilarious, but he's not enough for me to just like see a movie by himself. But
yeah.
uh,
If it
but
has,
the connections, I think a lot of the connections in that movie, I think a lot of people miss. Like again, the Excalibur thing, and
Mhm.
knowing that they were, I believe one of them mentioned, I forgot, maybe it was right. They mentioned that they were living with King Arthur in Camelot. So yeah, that makes sense. And in that time, I believe Merlin was the Sorcerer Supreme. So there should
Mm.
be a connection there. One thing that I'm still trying to like bring, I'm still trying to like think about is that they were they wouldn't get involved unless deviants are involved, right? But they didn't
Yeah.
interfere with
Oh,
Thanos, and Thanos is even though his parents were Eternals, Thanos' parents were Eternals. They came from Earth. He did embody the deviant DNA, the deviant DNA. Oh my God, deviant DNA. So he's part Eternal, part deviant. So I guess they didn't go after him. They didn't interfere because he was part Eternal. You get what I'm saying?
yeah. That's like
So I
really
think he'd
pushing
have
it
to
though,
be
bro. Is
completely
it?
deviant, like
It's like,
100% deviant. Like if these dudes were fucking savages, be like, no, he's half deviant.
but
Okay,
but
we
here's
gotta
the
kill
other
him.
thing. But here's the other thing. They're not supposed to interfere unless it's deviants. However, they still save kids from big heavy rocks. That's like the other, like remember that giant stone thing almost crushed the kid, and you see Cersei use her. I was like, whoa, she just interfered. Like how many buildings came down during the attack on New York? How many kids got crushed during that she could have saved? So I felt like pretty quickly into the movie they kind of like broke their own rule. I was like, ah, there you go. You're saving people with that wasn't a deviant. Oh, that but it possibly could have been a deviant because of the earthquake that caused the rock to fall off the wall. That's what I was telling myself in the movie. I was like, wait, the deviants showing up caused the rock to fall, so that's how it's still the deviants. See, I was rooting for the movie. We got 2 minutes left. We gotta bounce out of here. You're more than welcome to continue on for the after party, Manny. If you have to go, I understand. But the after party is gonna be on the Tron and everything and membership in just a moment. But um what I wanted to say before we dip out was one of my favorite things about the movie was, and you just mentioned it a minute ago, was the twist. I did like the twist. I did really appreciate how it was a little bit deeper than it initially looked. That these Eternals were actually doing something, that they had been duped. They thought they were going to this fantasy homeworld that never existed, and they're kind of being tricked into letting this human race die off for the sake of the celestial. And it raises the question of, if you prevent billions of lives from happening, is that the same as killing off billions of lives? Kind of question. You run into some,
Make you look
real
at
life political issues and stuff
yeah,
like
it
that.
does
You know
make
what I
you
mean?
look
Which I don't
at
want to go
like
too deep
that's what I
into.
liked about the movie. It made me look at a lot of perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the whole like Greek mythology inspiration that they had in the movies, where a lot of in the movie where um they how much they influenced uh
How much they what?
society, how much they influenced society. Like
Oh yeah, yeah.
they were because they were looked at gods like the way you know us, us humans talk about Greek gods and Greek mythology and stuff like that. Like it was pretty cool. The one thing I didn't like though is like I know in the comics the Eternals weren't robots, and that's the Celestials kind of made them as robots. Like in the comics, they were like highly evolved humans that were modified by the Celestials to have powers. I'm definitely gonna go, but this movie definitely. I'm gonna go back and backtrack and like read a lot of like the Eternal stuff, especially Jack Kirby, because I love Jack Kirby. I can't. It's like impossible for me not to like anything Jack Kirby. So like I had to watch this movie in honor, in tribute to the King. You know, I really, dude, I can't like. I know there's people gonna hate it, but I liked it, man. You know,
I'm happy.
I can only speak for myself.
Really liked it.
Yeah,
I'm honestly really happy that people liked it because I wanted to like it. So the fact that people liked it more than me, it's not like.
Yeah, the thing is, like, people are complaining, oh, the MCU movies are all the same. There's nothing different. Finally, you get something different, and people still complain. Like, it had a lot of different. It was a different vibe, different flavors, and man,
it was different. It was definitely different. But it also lacked a strong protagonist, in my opinion. I felt like Cersei did not give me the strong protagonist to anchor me through the movie, and I just didn't get enough of character as I really wanted to. But I'm down to watch it again and give it another shot for sure. You know what I mean? And hopefully I might see past some of the things that that were bothering me during the first time, because sometimes it also felt very slow and poorly edited, in my opinion. There was a lot of there were many shots of, oh, what's over there? And then here's another character. Oh, what's over there? Oh, the same fucking thing. Great, thank you. And then, oh, what's over there? Oh, it's the same thing the other two assholes were looking at. Like, come on. Like, I don't need to see head turns from everybody. Like, snap, like, we're all in the movie theater here. Make a move.
The slow parts didn't bother me because, like, any of the slow parts, they ended up being rewarded with action scenes, so it didn't really bother me. Like, I guess I was so in tune with the movie that it was just the slow parts ended being rewarding with like great visuals and great action sequences, and
yeah. No, yeah, the visuals did wake me up a bit. Like, oh, hey, there's Makari's doing something cool.
Yeah, I can see where, I could tell, like, I know not everybody was going to like this movie. If it's not like Avengers, Spider-Man, or X-Men, they're not going to care. It's like,
Guardians, dude, Guardians
but yeah,
nailed it.
Like, Guardians nailed it. Guardians nailed it. Everyone, like, slept on Guardians, and that ended up being one of the best MCU movies.
I loved Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi was very different and dope as fuck. I loved Shang-Chi.
Do you think Fastos, the rings that he created, have a connection with the 10 rings? Because remember, they were saying,
I didn't think of that.
They were saying when in the Shang-Chi movie, I forgot what part. Help me out here. Oh my god, because my memory's terrible. But they were like, it's how many like centuries years old? We don't know. Like how old, where it came from. That could be the origin of one of the 10 rings.
That could be. That I would buy that. I would appreciate that connection if that's really it. I would hope so. I like that. I would like that to be the case. That would be pretty sick. I like that character Fastos, by the way. That character was cool. But just plain Steve is shooting down your thesis with one word. No, that's not how it. I don't know if he's
bro. I said could. I didn't say it's a definite, but you never know. The MCU likes to twist things.
Speculation.
So it's just speculation. Right. Just be open-minded about things and not be so close-minded. With the MCU, it's the possibilities are, man, astronomical. You just never freaking know.
Yeah, they could do anything. All right, bro. I got to wrap it up. We got to move over to the after party. So move on over there. Thank you so much for joining me today. thanks so much, and let everybody know what you're up to. You got some more stuff coming to the channel. I know you mentioned you're taking a break, from wrapping up the AOA wave, but you got the Vulture review probably coming up, and share whatever.
I know. I'm actually working on the Wolverine versus multi-pack, the Amazon exclusive.
Ooh.
Hello.
Oh, the audio is cutting out.
No, I don't know if you heard me, but I said I'm actually working on the Wolverine versus multi-pack from the Amazon exclusive. Yeah,
nice,
so
nice.
I'm just like right now I finished the filming part and the I'm still like in the editing process and going over like the character background. Dude, I don't know how you feel. I hate doing multi-packs because I feel like I gotta review like one wave in an entire video.
Oh yeah, it's
oh my God,
it's. I've been doing those a little bit more lately, and it's a juggling act to say the least.
Yeah,
Let me get this thing. I just want to make sure I got that set up.
Eternals review, but I'm like, man, I gotta give you props for covering 8 figures in like 20 minutes. That's not easy.
Thanks, bro. Oh my God,
especially since they all have intricate designs and all that. Like, you want to show off all that detail because I think their costumes were visually appealing. Like, I do see the Jack Kirby inspiration. Like, that's what I'm a sucker for.
Me too. I still after I watched the movie, I was like, man, I didn't like that movie, but there's still good figures. I still like those figures. I don't care what anybody says. I like those figures.
This was like, I'm like, oh, this was like my least wanted wave. Like, it was like my definitely my least desired wave this year, Marvel Legends. But like so far, the way I'm going through high, I don't know. They look really nice. I don't know which one's my least desired wave so far. Probably.
What If for me. What If wave for me. What If wave that was hard to review. Not that
I reviewed like 3 figures, and I'm just like, I'm not doing the rest because I'm like, if I'm not into it, I'm not gonna review it because I feel like I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste my viewers' time, even if they do want to see it. The energy, the aura won't be there for me.
Right. Yeah, you gotta feel it.
I stopped doing like reviews on things that like, because sometimes I force myself to do a review on figures that I didn't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no, that's where I'm not having fun.
Right. That's not a good time. Wait, there's one question here. We do have to go to the after party because I really have to wrap right at 9 so I could put Emma to bed. But I'm glad. Again, I'm happy that people like the movie. But Jermaine asks a really good question. We'll see him later in a second. But he wanted to ask, I want to know if any character figure did it make you like more or less after watching the movie? God, if there's, what I think, the figure from that wave that I probably had the biggest problem with was Makari, because I don't like how her face came out, and even more so than with Kingo. I mean, Kingo's eyes are really peeled on that figure, but I think the Makari figure, I like that figure even less after watching the movie, and I didn't like the character very much in the movie as well. I didn't really like Makari. Like when they showed her chilling on the ship reading books, I was like, oh yeah, there's that person. I totally forgot about her, and I didn't miss her at all. And there she is reading a book. But I think Makari made me like, the movie made me like the Makari figure less because of the head sculpt. I want her smiling, like show more features like how she showed in the movie is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, well, she is smiling. It's just not like teeth exposed. There's no teeth exposed. It's just like,
and her face looks weird. It didn't look like the actress to me. I feel like they just didn't nail that face sculpt so much. She's got like she's like cute, and she's got like a pretty, I don't know, like I thought the actress was pretty and cute, and I just didn't feel like the face quite nailed that. Say that again.
She's half white, half Latina. Look that up. She's
Oh, you did. Oh, I had no idea what I
she's,
didn't know what she was. I thought she was.
Mexican. She's half Mexican, half black. She's
Oh,
gorgeous.
okay. Oh,
I
that's
don't know.
that's always nice mix.
I like the figure. I like the fake. The one thing I will say though, I noticed a lot of the figures had QC issues. Like that one picture where Icarus's eyes are like up here on his forehead. I seen
Oh,
that on the internet. Ran into Bad Fastos in the store where his beard, the lineup was like over here.
oh wow. It's black skin.
Literally, like how you see my beard, like the square piece, like picture it over here.
It's like running
It's
right
so
down the mouth like
bad.
that. That's
Yeah,
awful.
that's why I was like, you know what? I was gonna wait and order it online, but when I see the QC issues, I was like, let me just see it in stores and make sure I pick up my good ones. But luckily, my local Walmart had them for like $16.99, so I'm like, all right, cool. I'll
Yeah.
grab them because I was gonna wait for them to go on clearance.
Yeah.
So I'm like, $16.99,
Yeah, for
and
anybody
all of
who's
the paint
waiting
apps
for
were
them
good.
on, that's definitely a Black Friday wave. But we have to get rolling for real. It's already 8:11, and I do have to stop at 9. Thank you so much again, Manny. Subscribe to his channel. Link is in the description below. Stay tuned for his Amazon exclusive Wolverine Wave review or Wolverine box set review and that Vulture. And we will catch you guys later. Thanks again. Peace.